everybody. Welcome. It is time for having fun with J and J.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Happy New Year again. Oh, look at her.
I gotta show
I thought you were doing your horns there, girlfriend. So I thought it was above you.
I got halos.
You got halos. How long do you say Happy New Year? Do you say it the entire month of January?
No, just till the 6th.
Well, okay, so I'm on the 10th, but I'm always a little slow. We only get to see our peeps on Friday, so anyway, Happy New Year. You're not going to get it from me next week, so don't ask. I've been put on the no-fly zone of saying Happy New Year. We are here again, Jeanette and Jenny, and it's having fun with J and J. And we have a special guest today. As all of you know, who's been hanging with us, we do love our crafters and our artisans and our artists, and we try to get you the most interesting and different kinds of people, different peeps that we can show you. But we also want to provide you with certain support entities that are going to be in your business, because it's really important for crafters to have access to the same things that other small businesses have. You may not think that you need them. You may not think that you want them, but we think you should be exposed to them so that one day soon you'll say, wow, I want to do that, and then it really helps your business to flourish. So today we have Tracy Poe. I got to go over her website, and Jeanette will bring it up later, and it's really wonderful. She's the founder of Communicate Great. She's a podcaster, and she helps people communicate, which is the most important thing. It's actually more important than your product, and it's more important where you live. It's one of the key things that will drive your business and help it to succeed, and it's the least talked about, I think. So I'm going to send you over to look at her. Okay, can you tell where we live? She's in Florida. I'm currently in Texas with 35-degree weather.
Here's 65, 70.
Yeah. But Jeanette's going to take it over. She's going to talk to Tracy, and we're going to have a nice conversation, and we're going to communicate.
Communication is the nation. You ever heard that song? Communication. Yes. Yeah, okay. So I'm going back way back. Anyway, so Tracy, thank you for coming on, first of all. And let me ask you, how I know that people often find the problem of communicating. I've always found myself that I can communicate on camera here, fine. But give it to me on a stage, yeah, I freeze up like, and I'm like, and I start getting shaky. My stomach starts everything. And now on stage in front of live people, it's like I'm imagining them throwing me tomatoes, tomatoes and everything. Like, yeah. So that's my thing. It's not look at the man in funny and think of him in pajamas. No, I think of when I see the people, I think of tomatoes, and I'm kind of like that. So you work with people and helping them communicate in a live setting and what kind of setting? Go ahead and start. How did you first come up with all this?
Okay, so first of all, before I answer your question, I have to say that I love that you all have this crafting community and that you help them, because I always tell people I've tried crafting, and I admire my one of my daughter-in-laws. She crochets, and she's been making. We have our first grandbaby as of so she made the little crocheted booties and a little blanket and just all of these amazing things. And I'm just watching her. I tried cross stitch probably 20 years ago. Okay, my sister loved chickens, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna make her a little cross stitch chicken thing. for her kitchen. I got about an inch by inch after months it took me. And I got so frustrated. I put it in a bag and I put the thread and everything in a bag, and I just gave her the bag with this inch by inch. And I was like, Merry Christmas. I'm not doing this. And then here's another failed story. So and I'm divorced. So my then mother-in-law, her church was doing like a crafting bazaar to raise money. And so I had seen where you take the glass Christmas ornaments or plastic or whatever, and you put things in them. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and donate them to this bazaar so that it can help the church. So I spent a while and I just thought, oh my gosh, aren't these so cute? I think they got hidden or something. I'm not sure, but they were apparently so bad.
No.
Nobody bought them. So anyhow, I don't have the gift of crafting or art. So all of that to say, if you are a crafter, honestly, it's a gift that not everybody has. If somebody asks me to decorate, I'm like, well, I am not Martha Stewart. Like, that is not let me do something else. But
let me teach you how to explain how you design, but I'm not going to design.
Right.
Yeah. So
I like that though, but I thank you, because I don't think a lot of crafters get that feedback, because they think that everybody knows how to do it, and it's not true.
No. And even if you know how to do it, it doesn't mean you're going to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, I'll watch somebody do it, and I think I can do that. And that's why if I ever do anything, I'm going to take up painting, but it's going to be like splatter. Just like, it's not going to be.
That's what they call abstract.
Abstract.
Exactly. So now to answer your question, after I gave the shout out to all the crafters who truly are amazing. And I want to say hi to Ruth, because I understand that you are here with them. And so I love the support. I love when women in business support women in business, and we can talk about that later. But so I was in the nonprofit world for 20 plus years. And before that, when I was working on my master's degree in communication, I had to pick a project. And so I chose to do a workshop that for the student body at the university that I was at. And so I put, ads out everywhere, and I had just a couple of people sign up, but that's fine. I mean, the goal was to do the project and pass the class, right? So it was about academic success, but it was all through the lens of communication.
Right.
And one of the things that people who meet me, they don't get is I am truly a massive introvert and a shy, timid at times. And there are stories that I could share. So anyhow, one student showed up, and at first I was kind of like, I spent all this time getting this workshop together, but then I thought, okay, but actually it's pretty good because I have one person. And so one-on-one, I'm so much better with. But anyhow, so I went through the workshop and I watched him, and he was getting like all these aha moments, and he was taking the notes, and he was really getting it. And when it was over, I just thought, this is what I want to do. I want to work with people on workshops and retreats and, just kind of teach them different communication skills, because Jeannie, you mentioned that really communication is so important. It really has everything to do with a relationship and whether it's going to succeed or fail. And that translates into your business. If you're not communicating, if you're not out there being visible, then no one's going to know about you. And then all of a sudden you have a hobby, right? And crafting, if I ever get around to like doing my splatter painting for a hobby, it will not be, but anyhow, so all of that to say, that was my heart. And in the nonprofit world for those 20 plus years, I was able to do bits of that. But the last nonprofit job I had, I was director of advancement for a private pre-K through 12 school. And it was killing me. It was the hours were insane because if you're in the nonprofit world, you know that you're wearing lots of hats.
Right.
Every dime counts. And so I was wearing lots of hats. Well, director of advancement, you do wear lots of hats, but I didn't have a large team to help with all of the things. And so it got to the point where I was sick all the time, and it was impacting my spiritual walk, my mental health, my relationship with my family, and again, my physical health. And so I got to where I had to walk away. And after 20 plus years of working with different nonprofits, I thought, instead of money, can I have money, please? Money, please, money, please. And all of those things that went along with it, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to that dream that I had all those years ago of working with people and the workshops and the retreats and the courses and all of those things. And I'm going to do this. And God kind of was like, it actually happened with God reminding me of that dream, like, you remember when. And I feel like that was something he planted in me all those years ago.
Your purpose.
Your purpose.
As I got out of the nonprofit and I was looking at for-profit, the corporate jobs, I just had this pit in my stomach and it just made me very, very nauseous. And so I started Communicate Great. That is the answer on how it came to be and why it came to be. So I have a passion to work with people to help them just get out there and succeed and grow. So that's that answer.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's a journey.
I know that is a journey. And, one of the things that, you'll hear, I always come up with the word, well, not me, but the book does. And it always relates to what's going on. But one of the things that I do know that God always gives someone a purpose. And you can get it in the beginning, but it's up to us to take that purpose, apply our gifts to it, and then go and do what he tells you to do, because that's one of he sets you up for life. That's why I love Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you to prosper you, not to harm you, because he already said it. He already gave you the gifts to do what you need to do. I'm not going to start preaching. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is thanks for the purpose. You brought it back. So now I have your website up, and we were talking behind the scenes and about Oh Yes I Can Women in Conference 2025, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
Tell us about that until when I get the page of what's that consist of.
Well, let me ask you this. So basically, so I can frame it for everybody. Mm-hmm. You do workshops for people that you like to work with women, but you do people. So your focus is to create workshops for women to go to be able to speak, not only video, but in large groups or do their own in-person speaking engagements, correct?
Mm-hmm. Sort of.
Okay, so, tell me what it is. Tell me where I...
Sure. So let me kind of set up how the Oh Yes I Can Women in Business group came about. So when I started Communicate Great, I was talking to one of my daughters who was helping me. And I said, I really feel like women in business have to support women in business. We have to be there for each other. We have to see each other as collaborators instead of competitors. And so we were talking about this, and she knew my dream for conferences and retreats and all of that. And she said, well, why don't we do a conference for women in business? And I was like, well, of course, because that's what I want to do. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe this can be just an annual event. And we had the one-day conference back in 2023. And at the end of it, I had all of these women coming up to me and asking, when are we doing this again? This was amazing. And the whole point of that conference was to encourage each other, to lift each other up, to help each other. And the reason why I came up with Oh Yes I Can is because when I was teaching public speaking in college, it was a required course. And so like me, there were people who did not want to be in front of people speaking, and which is very ironic and very God, if you think about that, right? Like major introvert, and I'm teaching public speaking. So to do that, I am in front of people to teach it. So anyhow, there's a whole story, but I used to pray, and I taught interpersonal comm as well. I taught both of those for about 10 years in college. And so every time I was on my way to teach, I would be, Lord, you have to do this for me. I can't do this, because that's how nervous I was. So anyhow, the whole thing is, I would say to my students who didn't want to do it, yes, you can do this. You can do this, and I'm with you. I've got you. And so out of that, I just thought, what more empowering statement can you make to these women in business that we're doing this conference with than, oh, yes, I can do this. You can do this. We can have our businesses. And so it was really about just empowering other women and saying, yes, you can do this. And so I brought speakers in, and we had some workshops, and it was all to give people some tools to really build and boost their business. And the theme at that point was run your race. And so this time the conference theme is create, which I think is beautiful that you all have me on this show, and God just kind of dropped me that theme for this year, create. So the
Very
speakers for
good.
this conference will be talking about create, and in different ways. So one of the big things I do is I help people with public speaking. And so I'm going to be talking about how to create some visibility from the stage, how to build your business by being on stage. So to answer your question, after all of these women were coming up to me, I thought, oh my goodness. So we started doing once a month events, but doing a live conference once a month is too much. It's too much. Too much. So most of our events are virtual, and we have what I call virtual business bump ups. And those are the first Tuesday night of every month. And it's just an hour long, and it's kind of a mini version of a conference. We have a sponsor come in, and they lead a workshop, 20, 25 minutes. They answer questions. They have their deal of the day for the women. And then we spend the rest of the time in breakout rooms so that they can learn about each other and look for those collaborations. So that's once a month. And then throughout the year, we have some bigger events. Last July, we had a 3-day virtual summit. And so we had different themes for each day, but one day it was about the business of running your business. And then the next day it was about marketing. And then the next day it was about self-care, because if we're not putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first, how do we run our business to help other people? And so there was that. Then we had a mini conference, and it was about how to thrive in 2025. And so throughout the year, we do bigger events, but most of the time they're virtual. They're the hour-long business bump ups, the first Tuesday night of the month. So to answer your question about this, then, this is really bringing people in, and we're just like the first one. We're going to have women speaking about tools, techniques, just messages of encouragement and empowerment. So it's going to be a day of the speakers, the workshop leaders, building these women up and helping them to know we are in community together, and we're going to go through this together, and we've got each other.
Wow, that is wonderful, because that we always saying that, Jenny and I always saying, we crafters got to be together and build them up, and we're all about building up people and helping the crafters succeed, even at that stage, And Jenny has a funny story when she says that she goes around the marketplaces and you see people like this, and they don't talk to anybody, so they just stay behind the phone. Unlike me, I go out to them and go, hey, how you doing? Have a beautiful day. Look at that perfect smile. Look at that dog. You want a treat? You just got to bring them in these venting events. It's the same thing. And if you're afraid to talk to people about your own product, and you're afraid to talk to them, that is intimidating. Talking is not easy. I don't know how Jenny and I can do it for 12 hours. We do it, but we do it well, because I think we have both got that gift of jibba jab.
Well, the thing about crafters, especially, but women in general, the time is now. I just had I'm writing a blog right now on, it's not a risk, it's an opportunity. And women really need to understand that our business world is different than men's. We do have a lot of men that we talk with that are on our channel, but as a woman entrepreneur and all the women from my platform, Evenist, women don't generally toot their horns, number one. And number two, they have so many other exterior impositions on their life. I'm not going to say impositions. A child's not an imposition, but they're, men. When I was in real estate, I was hardly in the office. And Fridays we had to go in and do a sales meeting, and the guys would be sitting there eating their donuts and chatting and stuff. And they'd say, "Hey, Jen, why aren't you in the office?" I said, "Look, dude, you got a wife. I got, I got kids. I got dogs. I got a husband. So if I'm not working, if I don't have an active client in the office, or I don't need to be into the office, I don't come in." And this is way before people really started working out of their home. But real estate was one of the things that you could do outside of an office. You could work out of your house before it became, the chic thing to do. Mm-hmm. So it hasn't changed for women. Mm-hmm. But the time is now. If you are a woman and you have any entrepreneurial blood in you at all, we have so many opportunities for women to take advantage of to create the business that you want. It is not going to come by someone creating it for you and then doing it for you. You got to get engaged. You've got to give it everything you've got. And you have to be able to communicate what you're offering, who you are, and how you can help. It's all about value, right? So you got to tell people, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is how it's going to help you. Right. So that kind of encompasses everything that you just said about, your passion, what you want to do, how you're going to help people to explain to people what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So it's really, truly extra important for crafters because they don't like the business end of their business.
Right.
They want to make those Christmas ornaments, or they want to make those mugs, or they want to make those clocks, or whatever product they're making. And I do not want, I'll tell you, I don't like that part of the business end of it. I don't like the paperwork. I don't like invoicing people. I don't like that. But so you have to encompass all this together. And Jeanette's better at that than I am. She's better organized. She's on it. That's why, that's why we're together. Yeah. We make the perfect marriage.
We're the complete opposite.
But do you find that, and I'm sure you've talked to women in different genres, different areas of business, but this is probably one of the hardest things for them to do, correct?
That is absolutely what I find. One of the things that I don't remember who I was talking to, but I said, I feel like a lot of people get into business because they have a passion for something. They want to help people. They want to create. They want to do whatever. And so we jump into this entrepreneurial ship, and we're just thinking, oh, this is going to be great because there's so many people, so many things, we just have that vision. And then we quickly realize, I don't have a business degree. I don't know what I'm doing on that end. And so for me, my personal goal is that I have a list of things that I don't like doing, or I don't do well, like crafting, or or just whatever it is. And so as I'm building my business, my vision is that I will bring in a team, not necessarily on payroll, but, just contracting out, hiring a bookkeeper, hiring a this, hiring a that, because really what I'm called to do is help people. And right. So if I can offload all these things and get it into the hands of somebody whose their mission is bookkeeping, or their mission is marketing. And I can market because that's one of the things I did for the nonprofits, at least several of the nonprofits. So marketing, I know how to do. I don't want to spend my time doing it. And
Right.
so right now I have somebody who's helping me with marketing. And, again, I know how to do it, but I don't want to take the time to do it because I want to focus on helping other people. That's what I do. That's what I'm called to do.
Right.
So yes, I think we get into business and we realize quickly, I don't know how to run a business. And so, maybe the vision would become, look, if I'm, having this kind of an income, I can hire that out. I can offload that. But there is a book, and I really wish I could remember what it's called. And I was reading it. I'm one of those people, I take books with me everywhere so I can read in those moments of, sitting somewhere in a waiting room, waiting for my turn or whatever. And I think it's called E-Myth. And I don't know if you all have heard about it, but I had it and I was carrying it. It was like, boom, light bulbs going off. It made all the sense. And then I don't know where I left it or what I did with it. So I would recommend getting the book E-Myth because, and again, I didn't get that far into it, so I may butcher it. So if I do, I'm sorry, but this is what I understand is you have three parts of you. And one is in a business, in a successful business, there's the worker bee, there's the administrator, and then there's like the dreamer. And I know those aren't the exact titles, but and I tend to be the dreamer and the worker bee, but this administrative side, it's just not there for me. And so once you read it, you realize, oh my gosh, and you can kind of see the areas where you maybe need to up your game a little bit, but it makes a lot of sense. So if anybody who is watching this, or I'm assuming there's going to be a replay,
this is going to be shown on our channel and on our YouTube.
Yes.
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 Can we go into this conference going on here on January 1st? Go ahead and tell us about that conference.
So it is in the DFW area because that's where I am. So this is one of the rare in-person events for the Oh Yes I Can Women in Business events. But I'm bringing speakers in. It's going to be in Hazlet, Texas, and it's going to be at 10 in the morning to 2:30. But you can stay a little bit after 2:30 to do shopping. The reason I did 10 to 2:30, my first one was longer and people started wearing out. You could just kind of see that. When I was teaching college, I was always watching my students, and there's a certain point where they're done and they're not going to absorb anything else. And so I would just say, okay, everybody, see you next week. So it kind of got to that point. So I made it shorter, but I wanted this time frame because if you are in the DFW area, you understand rush hour traffic. Especially on a Friday. So I wanted to make it 10 to help kind of buffer some of that early morning rush hour traffic. And then 2:30, do your shopping, say your goodbyes, and then maybe get on the road before that afternoon rush hour traffic gets to be too bad. So I'm always trying to think about things. So that's why it's 10 to 2:30, kind of in the middle of the day. But it's really about rush hour traffic and me caring about these women who are going to be stuck in it. So we're going to be doing lunch. We're going to be doing some speakers, some workshops, but it's all about providing actionable steps for these business women to take and business boosting workshops and activities. And it's going to be about networking and finding those collaborations. Like I said, I'm big into collaborations. We have to work together. And I know,
I think when you talk about building your team, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you really don't want other people in your quote business, meaning making decisions for you in your business. And Jeanette has her clocks, and she doesn't really want, that's her biz. But what we're talking about is building a team around you. Either you pay them, or you work in a affiliate position, or you work in a bartering kind of position.
Yes.
But you find someone who you can have. Believe me, there are some people that you can't work with because you don't work well together.
Yes.
So you're not going to get too many people that are going to like jump on you and say, oh, I want to do this, because you're a small business, and times, family events, different personalities. Jeanette has done it. I have done it. We work very well together. But we have people that we haven't been able to, they're lovely people, but it's not meshing. So it's really important, if you're a solo entrepreneur, to understand that the first person, the second person, you want to get a bunch of people so that you can see how you work together.
Right.
Yes.
It's the dating process.
Right, it sure is. I tell you, it is. So we're getting into the best part of our show, where I bring you the word and how to incorporate this. So I like this because the word today is choose God's secret place. Okay. And basically, I know where it's going to go, but we always need that peace within us to be able to think and to be able to just concentrate on what we have to do. What are our next steps? So he says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall remain stable and fixed under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God. On him I lean and rely. In him I trust him. Okay, and that comes from Psalms 91. This scripture holds the key to overcoming worry, anxiety, discouragement, disappointment, depression, despair, disease. It is simply trusting God. Perhaps you want to trust God, but it seems you just don't know. Trusting God requires knowledge, knowing him, knowing his character, and having experience with him. Going through trials with God by your side builds your faith. So when you face problems, you can choose trust or torment. Choose to trust God and dwell in the secret place, enjoying divine provisions in the midst of the attacks and walking through dark times in his presence. Because we all, through business, believe it or not, we have the dark times. We start losing hope. Will we be able to do this? Can we do this? Can we reach the people we want to reach? I mean, there's plenty of times that I drop on my knees and I pray every day the prayer of God, give us this ideas, give us encouragement. He's throwing things at me. I know he throws things at Jeannie all the time because she's always writing me ideas. So it goes to show that, yeah, he's working on us. But here's the thing. If you don't ask, you don't get. He says, ask me, test me, and you'll see. And then now he's actually saying, ask me boldly, which is another book that I'm doing with another coworker. And this Draw the Circle is a good book. And he says, ask me boldly what you want.
I have it too. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, and it says draw the circle, and it's actually it's a 40-day prayer challenge. It's so easy. And it's very simple. It's not long, and it gives you space to journal. And I've been journaling. I go by the calendar day. I started January 1st. And this is just one of these books that you gotta have, because I believe in the power of prayer. And that really works. It has worked for me so far. And I'm like this. I had to send it to Jenny. I had to send it to some friends. It's like I'm gifting them left and right because of the fact that it works. It really works. So that is the word of today for people out there wondering, how is this going to happen? Just drop on your knees and ask him boldly what you want, and he'll give you the ideas. And sometimes when we have to stand up and speak, I was telling her, speaking is not easy. Speaking is when you in there in front of a stage and you have all these people to speak to. I literally, this is how bad it was, and this is the joke of the day. I was on my final master's program, and I had to give a presentation of what I thought. Well, I got up there, I did the presentation, and everybody's face was kind of like looking at me like, what? Like, I don't think they understood. So I look at the professor, he goes, Jeanette, that was a very interesting presentation, but can you do it in English now? Yes. So I had that done. And I'm like, oh, and you just totally, go back to your original. And I went there and everybody, I started laughing. I said, I'm sorry, Professor. He goes, go ahead and do it again in English. I said, okay. So
Oh my goodness.
And it was my laughing moment of the day, and everybody just kept, looking at me, and they made fun of me, but it's okay. I love them anyway. I did my presentation. I got an A for doing it in both languages. So that was my joke of the day. So here you go.
Yeah.
So Tracy, are you going to be doing any other in outside venues like this one? Do you have them planned? Is your year planned?
So are you talking about specifically for the Oh Yes I Can Women in Business? So we have, if you're in the DFW area, and actually we have a member who's down in the Waco area, and she drives up for this. We are starting quarterly. It's called Let's Do Lunch. And it's just, just come. There's no fee. You just buy your own lunch, and we just sit and talk, and we look again for those collaborations, and we learn more about each other. The first one we did, the woman who's in Waco, she was launching her business. She had been down in the Houston area. She moved to Waco, was launching her business, and so she was having a day of hope. And she had asked me to be one of her speakers, so I was going to go down to do it. But she came, and she left with another speaker and 2 vendors. So it's just, when women get together, and that is the thing I love about the women that are involved in this group, is they really care about each other, and they look for those collaborations. So we're doing Let's Do Lunches. We're going to do those once a quarter because people are just busy. And then probably not another conference until next year, in-person conference. But we do virtual. We're going to do a virtual summit in July. But I want to get to where I bring in retreats for the women, and those aren't there yet, but that is on the horizon, where we can do, gather at somewhere and do retreats maybe a couple of times a year, and just have some self-care time, and then kind of integrate that with some business building things. So I don't know.
So how do women?
How do you join? Like, how do the women join? Like, how can they get that information? They go to your website?
Yes. So that is a great question. So once you attend one of the events, right, then you're automatically considered a member. And so if you come to the bump ups, the monthly bump ups, your first one is going to be $10. And then after that, they're free if you use the coupon code. Oh. And then you also get a discount for the conference or for the summit. So, or the retreat, but that's within a finite window. And then if you don't get your discount within that window of reserving your spot, then you're bumped up and you're paying the regular fee. So once you attend one of the events, then you're a member and you're invited into a private Facebook group. And that's where we do a lot of community as well. So yes, go to my website. So it's communicategreat.online. .com was taken. I'm a little bitter, but that's okay. Online.
Oh, so aggravating.
What's that?
It's so aggravating when you got like the best name and it's like, and you're like, really?
Yeah. So
and if you want to buy it, it's like $5,000. Like, yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So this one is just Communicate Great Online, correct?
Online.
Online.
And then under services, it has the different areas that I work in. And so you can go down and it will say connect with, I think it says connect with other women in business. Uh-huh. And if you click on that link, that's the Oh Yes I Can page. And you can scroll down and you can look at the events that are coming up. You can look at everything that we're going to be doing through the beginning of 2026. And so you can add those things to your calendar. But then as we move closer to those dates, then I'll move it over to the up next column and I'll have links for you to go register. So that is how you get involved. You can go to that page on the website, see what's coming up, and register, mark things on your calendar, and then you're part of the group.
Oh, wow. That seems easy. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. That was great. I like the online part because I don't think I'm going to Texas anytime soon. Maybe.
Oh, don't be like a Florida bougie. Like, really?
It's cold over there. I'm gonna wait till it's warm.
Oh well, like the fact that it's like in the 30s right now, I'm digging it.
I'm
I'm like, I get to
yeah.
wear some sweaters for a change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I
Yes.
used to love the same shade of color.
I know. Well, you know what? I actually had a color on that was kind of a rust color,
Mhm.
and I felt it was too Halloweeny, like too autumny, and I'm done with the autumn. So I actually just switched my sweater. See,
Look at that. Look
you
at
know,
that.
and Tracy's got blue on too.
Okay, well there you go.
So we're you know.
And a visibility tip, let me just explain some branding stuff. Blue is one of my colors. So anytime I do my podcast or I'm speaking, I'm going to wear blue.
Huh.
So if you have colors for your business, make sure if you've got some visibility, if you're on a podcast, if you're on a TV show, if you're speaking, wear your color.
Wear your colors.
Huh. Okay, so I got to wear
I do have to tell people, this is a tip too. When you're on camera, try not to wear print.
Oh yeah.
It's all color.
This is a free gimme.
Yes.
Anytime you do any kind of I mean, they're okay. And if you can, Jeanette wears them much better than me. I don't do prints very well, but when you're doing a podcast, especially you want people to focus on you.
Yes.
And if your background is blue and you wear like a bright fuchsia floral thing, it's not going to work. So just be a little cognizant of. Sometimes I say, "Did she look in the mirror?" But
so I love that because I have the Bye Video Camera Shy 7-Day Challenge, which we had talked about, and that's to help people become comfortable with being on camera. And that is actually one of my tips. We go over tips, and so that is: don't wear white; it washes you out. Don't wear black, and wear
see, there I
solid.
draw my cut because I love black. That's one of my favorite. I know it's awful, but I know.
You know, tell that to the big fancy people you see on TV, and they have their suits on and everything.
All I know is if you look at them, they almost always wear like their suits are very tailored, or they've got interesting things on them, but they're very.
There's always something on this show. My earring just fell right here in the camera.
Well, I just fell off the camera a couple minutes ago, so there you go.
I just went,
poof, I'm gone. Poof, here I am.
I noticed it, but I didn't acknowledge that she was talking.
Okay, I heard Tracy. I could still hear her talking. I just thought, okay, that's really weird. I just dropped off the face of the earth.
That's funny.
It's always something with us. It's always something. Well, thank you, Tracy, so much.
Tracy, this has been really informative, and I hope all of the women, and let me just put this in too real quick. We have women and men that work together. Usually they do have tours, or people tend to go on one side or the other. So if you're part of a team and your other half happens to be a very awesome man, you can still go to these things for your own benefit. So don't think that if you're working with your husband or a friend is a male or whatever, that you can't participate. So make sure that because you're going to bring that knowledge to your team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just to get you a few more people in there that say, well, I'm working with a dude. I don't qualify. Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do. Come on.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah, and I will say that the other areas that I work in are right there on the website as well, that homepage. And so, check me out and let's work together.
I like it. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for having me on too.
You're very welcome. And we're gonna keep Tracy in our sights. Trying to figure out how I can get myself up to Dallas Fort Worth. 5 hours, but it's not as bad as what I will tell you. It's not as bad as going up to Amarillo. I can actually take the freeway up instead of going the back roads and get run over by semis. So I can do Dallas Fort Worth, so that might be something I'm going to be doing in the near future. But Jeanette, she's going to stay in. Aren't you coming out to Texas?
I am in April.
Yeah, see, so
I'm gonna go see you.
Are you gonna stop to see me?
You think I won't?
I don't know. Where are you gonna be? I forgot.
El Paso.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, I can do El Paso.
Okay. I didn't hear the L part. I was like, what?
Yeah, El Paso. People
That's
don't understand how big Texas is.
it's huge.
Okay.
It's huge.
Just going down to the store, you're going a mile. It's huge.
Yeah. From DFW is 8 hours. I know, I was there. I lived in Texas for a year and 3 months.
You lived in my town. You lived in my town, and we never met in person.
We never met, and I was always at the Main Street Marketplace. That's where I would vend and sell my clocks and everything else. It was really fun. And I told her I'm here in Texas, but we haven't met yet. Me and Jenny have not, like.
I just Googled you, and you're 4 hours and 53 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you live in Europe, or you live like in New England, that's literally like another state and a half. You just travel through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you could go from Boston up to Portland, Maine, and it's less time than for me to go to Dallas, Fort Worth.
Oh my gosh. All right. So our time is moving to the end. Green first, Jenny. Green first. Advertisement first. The end.
You really think I can do this? Here we go.
Always think you can do it. I have faith in you all the time.
Okay. You know what, Tracy? Beneath that smiling exterior, she's going, please, Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord, be with her.
That is all the time.
I am the biggest thing she prays for every day. If she didn't have me to pray for, she would have so much time in her prayer. It's me.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so what am I doing? I'm doing the purple crown.
No, not the purple. Not the purple.
The green.
The green.
First.
And then the exit. Yes.
Okay.
No.
Thanks, Tracy.
Bye.
We're going to talk soon.
So
Bye, everybody. Have fun. Have fun this weekend.
Yes.
Here we go. See if I can do this.
You can.